headquarters of the Ghost Note here over at my home studio. So I'm going to give you your lesson summary from today. I'm going to go over the basic hand techniques we talked about and then how to mix them together and to apply them. So like we discussed, playing drum set, playing drums is a movement art. So you want to have all types of different ways to move in different directions. So the most common one that we all learn at first is the dead stroke, and we started with that. And the dead stroke looks like this. You're beginning and ending at whatever surface you're playing on. So if I'm on the snare drum, it's like this. And no matter what technique you use to get there, if you stay at the surface you hit, it's a dead stroke. It has advantages and disadvantages. Its disadvantage is that moving around the kit, you're in the down position and you have to go up and then over to a surface. So the second stroke we talked about solves that, and that is called the rebound stroke or the free stroke. And with that, the slowed down version looks like this. We're starting with the stick up in the air, almost forming a goalpost. And I'll turn this way over to my floor tom to show you, to remind you that when you're in the up position, you're going to almost have your sticks parallel to one another and vertical. But when you bring your hands down, because of how our joints are made, the sticks become an acute angle. So if I'm playing on the floor tom, start up here, I'm bringing them down, you can see they form a triangle. But when we're playing, we want to bring the sticks back up for the rebound stroke. And that's also going to help with pulling the sound out of the drum. Literally pulling the sound out of the drum. It's going to help the drum to resonate more on its own. And also it's going to reset the stroke. So we're ready to strike again. I could strike the tom, floor tom 2, or I could hop over to floor tom 1. So that's the rebound stroke. Free stroke, just getting back up into the air. And if you're playing at a lower height, you just return to the lower height. Like that. All right, so the next thing we talked about was getting into the Moeller technique. And so the Moeller is great for a lot of reasons. The main Moeller technique that you're going to want to start with and then build upon are Moeller accents, which look like this. So you can see it's a wave-like whipping movement, and what you can look for, instead of a normal wrist stroke where the beat of the stick is the first thing in the air leading the stroke, with the Moeller technique, the top of your hand, if you're wearing a wristwatch on your right hand, or you can see my left hand, the face of my watch or the top of my hand is the first thing in the air leading the stroke, kind of dragging the stick up like you're dragging it out of a bucket of water, and then you're throwing it down to sling the water off. One quick note on velocity in each direction. When you're coming up, it can go slow, but when we're going down with this, we want it to be a fast stroke, a fast velocity. Whether we're doing an accented center hit or rim shots. So the cool thing with the Moeller is that it's very efficient. You can get multiple notes in each direction. So we're getting an accent on the direction down in the downstroke. But what we can also get is a tap on the way up. And so this is a Moeller double or an accent tap. Little tap on the way up. Remember, the way we got to that to help us is think you almost accidentally hit the drum. Just kind of bend your wrist and whoops, I tapped the drum. And then you're in the up position, keep going, then you're wound up to get an accent. And so on the snare drum, it's like that. And of course, drummers, we want to be not right-handed or left-handed, but equal-handed. So work on the left hand. If you can, film yourself practicing so you can see yourself in third person, but also get a vanity mirror. I have one across the room, I'll leave it over there, but set it around like we have in the lessons room so you can see your movement in real time. That'll help you quite a bit to make real-time adjustments. So what we did with that technique, application-wise, is we used it to not only play on the hi-hat dynamically, but to help sync up our hands and our right foot. So we'll talk about right foot technique in just a second. But what we did is we took that Moeller accent tap, a double. You can do triples, you can do fours with it. That's another lesson. But with this, just doing the double, now we can play the hi-hat with a little bit of character, a little bit of accent tap, kind of a darker sound than a lighter sound, right? We have multiple colors going on the hi-hat now. This is an undulating wave like chat, chat, has like a forward momentum to it that's really nice. You can use it to accent the downbeat, like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, or you can accent the upbeat, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. We're just going to focus on the downbeat for now because we're going to work on the mechanics of the hands and the mechanics of the right foot using the piston stroke, which is the stomping movement we discussed. And as you're doing really well with, you want to begin and end with the foot totally flat, relaxed, and the beater back. And then when you start to play the piston stroke technique, lift up at the heel and then make it all one movement, and then stomp, putting the weight into the ball of your foot, and then landing quickly. So it all should happen very quickly, all in one movement. When you get to a certain speed with that, you're going to want to employ ankle hits, which are more like that. But for now, you just want to use a whole leg. Get a nice full sound, get both heads on the bass drum to resonate fully, get all that shell tone out of the drum. We can talk about playing really quiet later, you know, like making that work. But for now, just get a full sound, kind of work the leg out. So notice, with the Moeller technique, what we can do now is we can sync up the hands. So if we're doing this on the hi-hat, now we can do one single Moeller accent in the left hand for our backbeat, and the hands would be this. This is groove number 2 in the 8th note packet. So number 1 would be this. That'd be groove number 1. The number 2, we add the snare drum in on 2 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Then I'm going to add the bass drum in like we see on groove number 4. And you'll see, using the piston stroke, it syncs up with the Moeller technique in the right hand like this. 4 and. You play all different tempos. So the next groove I want to look at would be groove number 8. The reason why we want to reference that one is because it has a bass drum on the and of 1 and the and of 3, and it's going to cause you to play movements that are opposite of one another between the right hand and the right foot. So you're going to have an oppositional movement there. What's going to happen is on beat 1 and beat 3, you're going to go down with the piston stroke in the right hand and a Moeller accent in the right hand. Right foot piston stroke, and then right hand Moeller accent. But then when you go to do the unaccented tap on the way up with the Moeller, you're also going to have to stomp your foot. So the Moeller tap is going in the opposite direction as the piston stroke downstroke. So it looks like this. You can see my right hand going up and the right foot going down. So when you put that inside the groove, you can see them on the and of 1 and the and of 3 moving in the opposite direction. same thing there. As I sped up, both my right foot and my right hand kind of shrink down. You don't sacrifice volume there. It will still be loud. Just one quick thought I have. The cool thing about Moeller stroke, like we talked about moving around the kit, it'll help you to add crash cymbals into the groove, because using the Moeller, I can just hop over to the crash cymbal like this. So I think one of the last things I want to mention would be how you can use the hi-hat dynamics to really change the groove drastically and make it fit different styles of music and have a different attitude. There's a lot that could be described there, but a quick kind of hyperdrive through that. We've got the accents happening, which I really like. It has a nice natural feel. It's got a lot of forward momentum. We've got different dynamics happening. It's got personality. But sometimes we don't want that happening like that all the time. We might want to do a different accent. Like I mentioned, we can accent the ands. That would sound like this. Instead of, we get this. So this is accenting the downbeat. Now I'm going to accent the upbeat. Go back and forth, you can hear the difference in the vibe. Downbeat. The upbeat. Now back to the downbeat. Back to the upbeat. You can hear just with that, it's actually the same shapes and everything, just shifted over 1/8 note, totally different personality. Real quick on that, and then we'll talk about playing even rhythms on the hi-hat, or dynamics on the hi-hat rather, even dynamics, and then we'll wrap up. This Moeller technique's really useful when you're playing on a cymbal like the ride cymbal on either the left or the right side, and you want to use the bell. Try to stick with 8th note grooves here, but anyways, so the next thing you want to look at is having the same volume happening in the hi-hat, either totally unaccented. This is great for all kinds of styles, anywhere from like Bill Withers to James Brown to all kinds of stuff, but just playing like much lighter. Right? So instead of, it would be, we could call it static, but even within that, there's going to be some dynamics. It's good to have some undulation happening in the rhythm. There are some times where you do want to make it more static and more angular, whether it's playing with the beat of the stick, you know, making it really even, or using just the shoulder of your stick on the edge and shanking the hi-hat like this. So maybe we jump to another groove on the page, you know, like this one, like, I'm forgetting the number, I don't have it in front of me, but this groove. So I could accent the downbeats like that, or the upbeats, or no accents. All accents, or I can mix it up and do something totally mixed up, you know, like do all types of dynamics like this. every pattern I played there's on the 8th note groove page. I just tried to stick with 8th notes. There were a couple ghost notes in there. But anyways, that summarizes everything we worked on. You can see it there. Give you something to practice along with. And yeah, there's other techniques to add into it, but that'll get you pretty far. That'll work in any kind of style of music. It'll work on any kind of drum set you play, whether it's small or a little bigger like this, you know, more toms. It'll help you to navigate the kit more. But anyways, hope that helps you practice. And happy drumming. We'll see you at your next lesson.